My name is Eric, I'm 34. I've been married for 4 years to a woman I thought was the love of my life, Anna. We lived in a small town called Bloomfield, Colorado. We didn't have children, but we never felt like something was missing. We were happy together. Anna was smart, charming, always with a spark in her eyes. She worked in marketing for a large company, and honestly, she had always been a bit of a careerist. Not in a bad way. She just had goals, ambitions. She knew how to take responsibility and shine, especially during presentations. She often talked about her colleague named Trevor. According to her, he was talented, charismatic, and knew how to captivate a room. At first, I was neutral about him. Well, just a colleague. I trusted Anna. Then came the business trip to Seattle. Trevor and I are going together, she said, looking over the travel itinerary. The management thinks we're the best to present the project to the partners. Just the two of you? I asked with a slight smile. Not even Jane is going with you? No, Anna waved it off. Just us. But Eric, you understand, it's just work. Seriously, I didn't make a big deal out of it. Though, something clicked in my chest. I pushed that feeling aside. Trust was important, right? When she left, we texted a lot on the first day. Pictures from her room, a picture of her coffee. Everything's great, dinner with clients. By the second day, responses became fewer. By the third, almost silence. I wrote it off to being busy. There are always busy days at work. Still, something in my heart told me otherwise. When she returned, it felt like there was a transparent, yet thick wall between us. Anna smiled, told me how everything went, but her eyes were tired and distant. I wanted to hug her tightly, to get back the woman I once knew. But she almost immediately went to take a shower and stayed there for 40 minutes. Later that night, I heard her quietly crying in the bathroom. She didn't know I wasn't asleep. The next morning, I made her coffee and simply said, Anna, something's not right. I can feel it. Tell me honestly, what's going on? She froze. Several long seconds of silence. Then she looked at me, and for the first time in all this time, she didn't look away. I have to tell you the truth. Her voice was shaking. Please, just listen to me until I'm done, okay? I nodded. She sat down on the edge of the sofa, as if her body no longer had the strength to carry her. I cheated on you. That night after the presentation. It all happened so quickly. We were at the bar, with Trevor. Just having a drink after the successful meeting. We were talking about work, about life. He touched my hand. I don't know how it went that far. I was drunk, confused. Her voice broke. It was a one-time thing. It will never happen again. I cursed myself for this. Tears ran down her face. I felt like everything inside me was collapsing. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to shout, throw something, run away. But I stayed there, as if glued to the spot. Why are you telling me this? That was all I could manage to say. Because I can't lie to you. Because I want you to know. And if you leave, I'll understand. But if there's even a tiny chance, even a little one, that you can forgive me, I beg you. I stood up. Slowly, almost mechanically. I went to the kitchen and turned on the faucet. I needed to hear something, anything, other than the sound of my pulse in my ears. I stood there, gripping the edge of the sink so tightly that my fingers turned white. My head was buzzing. Flashbacks of moments, just the two of us on a trip to Santa Fe, her laughter when I carried her in my arms on the beach, the time she said, "You're my safe haven." And now, this. I didn't go to the bedroom that night. I slept on the couch. Anna didn't leave the room. In the morning, I woke up and found her sitting on the floor by the wall, hugging her knees. She hadn't slept a wink. I didn't speak to her for 2 days. I needed to understand, was this the end, or was it a turning point? On the third day, I came home early. She was sitting on the porch. Pale, empty. I don't know what to do next, I said. But I don't want to make a decision in haste. I'm ready to do anything. Therapy, honesty, any conditions. Just don't stay silent. Don't disappear, Eric, and I told her the truth. I don't want to take revenge. I don't want to destroy you. But you've killed the reality where I was happy. We'll have to build a new one if you really want to stay, she cried and just hugged me. We stood there on the porch like two people who had survived an earthquake and decided not to give up. It had been 4 days since Anna's confession. I felt like I was living in a fog. I worked on autopilot, hardly ate, and stared at the ceiling at night. She was there, delicate, silent. She didn't push, didn't make excuses. Only occasionally would she cast a glance at me, full of pain and hope at the same time. On the 5th day, I spoke. If we're going to fight for this, we need to go to therapy. Together. Anna nodded immediately. I'm ready. For anything. Just don't stay silent anymore. We made an appointment with a family therapist. From the very first session, I realized how much had built up between us: resentments, unspoken words, exhaustion. But the worst part was that I started to understand how we had drifted apart. How we had started living next to each other, instead of together. Anna confessed, I didn't look for this. I didn't want this. It happened when I felt so alone. You became distant. I know it's not an excuse. It's an explanation. I was stupid. I didn't need Trevor's attention. I needed to tell you that I was struggling. I listened, not knowing what to feel. Understanding? Sympathy? Disgust? All at once. Every week we went to sessions. We tried to speak honestly. No sugarcoating. Sometimes I yelled. Sometimes I just stayed silent. Sometimes I cried. It was the hardest thing I had ever gone through in my life. Not because I didn't love her. But because I did. I loved her, and couldn't touch her. Every time she hugged me, I remembered his hands on her. His voice. His gaze. Their night in the hotel. Every time she kissed me, I felt the lie on her lips. Not because she was still lying. But because my memory refused to forget. I wanted to forgive. Honestly. I fought for us. For what we had. For the version of me that believed in everlasting love. But the more I tried, the more I felt I wasn't home anymore. I was trapped in memories. One evening, nearly 2 months later, we were watching a movie. An ordinary evening. Popcorn, a blanket, something light on the screen. Anna rested her head on my shoulder. And I felt the anxiety take over. Panic. The urge to leave. I could barely breathe. I stood up. I'm sorry. I need to step outside. I walked around the block. The thought that kept pounding in my mind was, you can't carry this inside. You can't keep living pretending. The next morning, I told her, Anna, I tried. Honestly. With all my heart. But I can't do this anymore. She froze. What do you mean? I don't believe in us anymore. You say you want to save the marriage. I did too. But I can't be with you and destroy myself every single day. I'm getting worse. I'm scared for myself. For us. This isn't life. It's a battle for the shadow of what we lost. Please. Her eyes filled with tears. Eric, give me more time. We can make it. We can make it work. I know you're trying. But it's not about you anymore. It's about me. I'm not the one who can survive this. I thought I could. But I can't. She pressed her lips together. She didn't cry. Just looked at me. And for the first time, I saw in her eyes not only pain, but understanding. Are you leaving? Yes. Not out of anger. Not because I hate you. But because I love myself too much to keep living in this wound. A week later, I packed my things. We didn't argue. We didn't shout. We simply said goodbye. For real. When I closed the door behind me, my heart broke for the second time. The first time was when I found out about the affair. The second time was when I realized that even love can't always defeat pain. The first few weeks after I left Anna were the darkest of my life. I rented a small apartment on the outskirts of town. Gray beige walls, a mattress on the floor, a box as a nightstand. The sound of the refrigerator at night seemed louder than my thoughts. But it was in this silence, uncomfortable yet honest, that I began to hear myself. Every morning, I woke up with a sense of guilt. As if I had let someone down. As if I had given up. Even though I was the one who had been hurt. A paradox. But the mind, it's a strange thing. It doesn't know which side to be on when the heart is shattered. Anna wrote to me. Not begging me to come back, no. She simply shared her thoughts. Sometimes just one sentence. Today it rained, and I remembered how we used to hide under one umbrella and laugh like we were 17. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to be cruel. But because I knew that every word back was a step into the past that no longer existed. We officially divorced 2 months later. No scandals. No fights. Just signatures and silence in the courthouse hallway. She looked at me before we parted and whispered, "Thank you for trying." I nodded. "Thank you for being honest." At least in the end. After the divorce, I didn't rush to move on. I didn't go to parties, didn't seek solace in other people's arms. I just lived. I drank coffee in new places. Walked without a destination. I started a habit of hiking in the woods on weekends. Endless trees, silence, the smell of pine, better than any therapist. Sometimes I would catch myself thinking, what if? What if she had stopped herself back then? What if she had told me immediately? What if I had been more attentive earlier? But I quickly shut that thought down. Those what ifs, they're a poisonous loop. They don't heal. They drown. One day I saw Anna in the grocery store. She was with someone. At first, my heart skipped a beat, jealousy, habit, instinct. Then came calm. I walked past. She noticed, nodded. I did the same. No pain. No smile. Just the fact we're not anymore. A year passed. In that time, I found my way back to myself. Almost. I'll never be the same. But I became real. Whole. Without illusions. With a soft sadness inside. And with the understanding that even love doesn't guarantee eternity. Now, when someone asks, "Have you forgiven her?" I answer yes. But forgiveness doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes it means leaving and not carrying the pain with you. I don't hate Anna. She's not a monster. She's a person. With mistakes, with pain, with consequences. And I'm a person too. Who, at some point, realized that self-respect is more important than trying to hold on to something that's already broken. This is not a story of revenge. And not a story of victory. This is a story of choice. And sometimes, the strongest choice is to let go.